we're going to be talking about one of the better patch notes out of the November title update. Now, I'm going to be real with you. This title update was pretty unimpressive. I was expecting more out of it, but what we did get was an improvement to some match coverage logic, in particular, how the match underneath triangulates different routes on the field. In fact, you'll notice that the exact verbiage of the title update note says alignment improvements in cover 4 quarters, palms, and cover 6, where outside deep fourth, quarter flat, 3 receiver hooks triangulate their position against bunch receivers to handle first inside, first flat, and the deep threat. But to be honest with you, some of these improvements manifest themselves in other areas of the game other than just bunch. So what I want to do here today is I want to go into one of the bigger weaknesses of match coverage historically, and that is going to be multiple underneath crossers going in opposite directions. This is called mesh. And you'll see oftentimes it might not just be a play called mesh. A lot of times online, you're just going to see people hot route a mesh concept underneath of whatever deep attacking concept, whether it's a streak in a post or a streak in a corner route. There's always underneath checkdowns that bust match coverage, and it's a point of frustration for a lot of players. At least historically, I've always been pretty irritated by the way that match coverage behaves against these concepts, because you need match up top against corners and posts, but underneath you're always giving up 15-20 yard drags for first downs, and we don't want that to occur. So let's go ahead and get into it here to kind of break down how this works. Now, as you guys know, in match coverage, a lot of times the quarter flat, the 3 rec hook, and the other quarter flat are on a system that is known as match, carry, and deliver, meaning that when you have a player that matches a route, he then converts into man-to-man on the pattern. Carry, meaning he stays with the route. And 3, deliver, means he delivers it to another player that can then take the route and match and carry it from that point forward. EA has made some changes to this here, and I want to show you guys one of the easy ways to kind of understand how they're doing this by showing you a single shallow cross with a wheel and a post. If you guys follow me on X, I actually did some videos on my account yesterday, right there on the timeline. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter or X, whatever you guys call it. It's at ZanMadden. But I showed that with this, now we're going to see a different behavior in the way your match coverage behaves. So let's go ahead and snap the ball here, just kind of let this roll. And you're going to see that we end up with a really interesting matching behavior on this concept. And that is that we now see that 3 rec hooks are going to take single crossing shallow crosser players and stay on them if the quarter flat is not there in the flat. So previously, what would occur in this game is that if the quarter flat was matching somebody and carrying that person, the 3 rec hook would not have a quarter flat to deliver them to. So they would stay matching on this route the entire way. But in this particular context, let's look at this route combination, and I'm going to explain to you why this quarter flat is not actually matching anybody. What you see right here is number 44 in white over Juju Smith-Schuster is basically just staying on the inside hip of this player as he releases vertical, and he's going to stay with that to a depth of about 12 yards. We've talked about the landmark for matching in previous videos here on the channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment below if this video is something you appreciate. But you're going to see that at about 12 yards, he says, okay, I'm done. The safety could pick up Juju Smith-Schuster, and he does. But before yesterday's title update, this would make this player available to receive a drag because he's no longer in conflict. In fact, he's in the flat, but he's way out of the picture. Now what we see is that because this is the case, the 3 rec hook no longer drops off thinking that he'll just go ahead and pick him up and rally down. He in fact stays on this route the entire way. And the best part about this is that this player now that is supposed to be our quarter flat defender now basically can muddy up that curl area where a lot of players like to attack that intermediate sideline, dig, working across. You see that this ends up being bracketed with this guy matching the dig from the backside. Again, I'm sorry for the banging in the background.
That's what she said.
Now let's talk about front side, because there's definitely some changes here too. In this particular side, we have what's called a drive combo, where we have a shallow cross with a deep in route over the top of it, and then this wheel. This has changed a lot too, because what used to occur in this match coverage would be not 1, but both of the deep zones would stay on worthy on this in route, and then this quarter flat and the flat would have to guard the wheel. This is no longer the case now, as this safety will be able to identify, triangulate, and be able to match accordingly. So this is no longer a situation where you end up with the quarter flat getting lobbed for a one-play touchdown. In fact, the underneath coverage in this is pretty darn good, but that's just with one shallow cross. Let's go ahead now and get into meshing out of this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set up a standard mesh out of 2x2 compression. Now, before the title update, what we would see is that the quarter flat defender would go with Juju Smith-Schuster on the drag from left to right. Roquan Smith in our 3 receiver hook would identify the shallow cross from the right side, Travis Kelce. And what they would have done before the title update is try to pass off the mesh to one another. What you're going to see now out of this compression-based look is when we snap this ball, they don't do that anymore. It's just straight up match. And you see that we're able to smother that drag, and Roquan stays on the Travis Kelce drag. And there's none of that late crisscrossing swapping nonsense that we saw before the title update that would end up with both of these receivers being wide open. Normally what would occur is at this point, Humphrey would say, you know what? I'll take Kelce. Roquan, you take my guy. And they would both swap off. And what would happen is Roquan would be so out leveraged with his feet flat that he would not be able to take Juju going left to right. And then Humphrey would be too far over the middle to actually execute his assignment of swapping off to Kelce, who's going right to left. And you would end up with both being wide open. Now they just basically say, run with your guy, and they stay on them. But that is specifically against compression 2x2. So what I want to do to kind of contrast that is take you guys into a spread 2x2. We're still having the same number of receivers on both sides of the field, but they're going to be split out further, and you're going to notice some changes in the way that the match coverage behaves. Now, again, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe right here to my channel. I upload Monday through Friday in the mornings with shorts in the afternoons to help you guys improve at Madden absolutely free. But if you guys are fiending for even more, you guys should check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 a month unlocks the entire website, where we talk about updates via patch in more detail than you see right here on this channel. Now, of course, this is a pretty deep video, but this is the type of content we have on the website to help you guys master the game on a level that I don't really present it here on the YouTube channel. If you guys like this content, you'll love it on Gridiron. $9.95 a month, all offensive and defensive game plans, weekly vault updates, which is 4 to 5 videos a week, focus on the trends of Madden, patches, what changes, what pro players are doing, how to counter it, why it works, the whole 9 yards, plus that extra for the first down. You guys can join our Discord. Make sure that you guys are in there as well. Over 2,000 members in there helping each other out, get better at the game day in and day out. And we have lab sessions every single Wednesday where you can bring your questions, whether they're on the website or not, and we can work through it together to help you guys improve on the spot. A lot of times those lab sessions lead to breakthroughs, and you guys can be on the forefront of future content on the website. So it's a great service for everybody. Helps me, helps you, helps me help you. Hopefully I'll see you guys there on the website. Again, $9.95 a month, the best deal in the tip space. So now we're going to go ahead and call a meshing combo out of 2x2 spread. And this is where it's super important that you guys understand that the matching rules aren't necessarily going to always be the exact same. So I'm going to call quarters again here, and we're going to run the same type of meshing combo. So in our previous example, we basically had a vertical, we had the running back swinging out to the flat. We also had the 2 drags in the middle and a backside in route. So we'll go ahead and show you the 2x2 compression here. It's the same route combo, but we're doing this out of a wider spacing. And in the previous example, you saw that the matching was just your guy is your guy. Don't try to swap it off. It looked fine. You know, this is pretty well defended. Everything's covered here. Maybe worthy over the top on the lob due to the speed there, but in terms of the underneath dispersion, pretty good. Now, unfortunately, spread is different. And what you're going to see with spread is that it's going to depend on what side of the field the running back is on, whether it's wide side or short side. And what I mean by that is I want you to watch how this behaves. When I run this combo to the wide side of the field with the running back, you're going to see that the logic is okay. You see that the mesh is basically handled the exact same way. It looked pretty good. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to float the running back to the short side of the field, and we're going to run the exact same route combo. So let's go drag, drag in the middle of the field, and then we're going to go vertical with a backside dig. Now, with the running back to the short side of the field, you're going to notice a stark difference in the way that this behaves. So I'm just going to snap the ball, show you the breakdown here. You're going to see the drag left to right, the drag right to left, and then you see that the one that was to Kelce actually ended up wide open. I held the ball a little bit longer than I should have. If I know that I'm facing somebody that's running straight match, this is going to be my hot read, and I'm going to throw it basically now. What you see here in this instance is you no longer have a situation where you just have a guy running with the drag. Because of the spread alignment, this underneath call basically defers this drag to Roquan Smith, who doesn't really take it, unfortunately. In fact, he takes the drag from the other side of the field. And the reason for that is, I would imagine, because this is the 3 receiver side of the formation, you have 3 to the left and 2 to the right. What you're going to end up with is Roquan is going to open to the 3 receiver side or look for the crosser from the 3 receiver side. So that is this player right here. And he basically has no idea that he needs to take Travis Kelce because he, can pass off Hopkins to the other player. So if you guys are ever playing quarters and you know somebody is running this concept, if the running back is to the wide side of the field, you have absolutely positively nothing to worry about. It will be matched appropriately. You see right there, like, that's pretty good. Now, of course, linebackers, receivers, sometimes you can still throw it at them, but that's a tight throw and it requires timing to make that throw, unlike a lot of throws in Madden. If the running back is to the other side of the field, now all of a sudden you're in a spot where you have to understand that there are going to be issues. There's going to be breakdowns. So if you guys are ever playing quarters against this and somebody likes to run shallow crosses like this, you need to understand that you need to be looking to the weak side of the formation. The reason I say that is that if they run a shallow cross, that's your guy. And then you see right there that the one on the other side is late. This is one of the reasons I've kind of said match is an imperfect science. I hear a lot of pro players say, I'm just going to call quarters and hope for the best. That's fine, but really match is an identity. As you run it, you start to learn, okay, this is what happens. When the running back is to the short side of the field, match is going to kill me in a 2x2 spread. So I need to play the short side of the field with my 3-rec hook and take that crosser coming to the short side. And you might be better off in some cases. Honestly, just go ahead and play this as a cover 4 hard flat when your opponent aligns it this way, because at least in that scenario, what you're going to end up with is a much better defense against mesh when the running back is to the short side. So basically, short side 2x2 spread match, you're basically just going to, guard the shallow cross from the wide side to the short side. When it's to the wide side with the running back, you're actually just going to be fine. You can just stay in your quarters. But I hope you guys kind of understand how this game is lab now. You understand that when it's compression with all these drags, you just stay on your guy. When it's spread, you have to pay attention to the back alignment and the hash dependency of your combo in order to better defend it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, I apologize for all the banging in the background. Hopefully this won't be an issue tomorrow. I will see you guys then. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.